According to a detailed investigative report by Samuel Ogunsono, scientific tests have confirmed the presence of banned organochlorine pesticides in Nigerian farm soil, crops, and even in vital soil-dwelling animals that sustain the ecosystem. These chemicals, outlawed since 2008 due to their severe health risks and long-lasting toxicity, continue to contaminate the food chain, raising fears of chronic illnesses, biodiversity loss, and soil degradation.
The investigation also reveals that many farmers still have easy access to these banned substances, largely due to weak enforcement, porous borders, and poor regulatory oversight, exposing how fragile Nigeria's agricultural safety framework remains. Experts warn that the continued use of these toxic pesticides not only endangers consumers, but also undermines global food safety standards, making Nigeria's agricultural exports vulnerable to rejection. Join us to discuss the findings and their implications is co-founder, Africa Organization of Technology and Agriculture, Ikechi Agbugba. A warm welcome to you, Ikechi, and thanks for joining us on Breakfast Central.
Thank you very much.
Yes, these.
Thank you for having me today.
You're welcome. We're glad to have you. These chemicals, these chemicals were banned in 2008. Yet scientific testing shows they're still found in soil, crops, and even animals. How dangerous are these pesticides, and why are they so persistent?
Yes, thank you very much for that question. These pesticides have been, they are not organic, pesticides. They are inorganic. They are chemicals that, over time, it's been confirmed that they are very poisonous and quite toxic. And they also contaminate the soil, not just Nigerian soil, generally soils. And it causes a lot of harm on living things, even humans, even animals, livestock, crops, of course. So, and it doesn't, live like that. It stays over time. So that's why, it's really, really a major issue. Yeah. So, and also we've had a lot of reports around it which have revealed that several of these pesticides, which are organochlorine based, such as linden, aldrin, endosulfan, among others, they are actually very poisonous, and they have been banned. They have been banned since around 2008 here in Nigeria. So, and what happens is that the soil, of course, about agriculture. Agriculture is the foundation of agriculture is the soil, and of course, if the soil gets contaminated, what then happens? The crops. And of course, the livestock also depends on the crops most times, and life starts from the soil. And then, of course, when humans consume it, and you can see a lot of prevalent health cases heightening, and like I will always, advocate that the best clinic, the best hospital, the best health advisors is from the agriculture sector. Agriculture sector is a primary sector. Agriculture sector is a real sector. Agriculture sector is a traditional sector, and that's why every sector depends on it for sustenance.
Okay, now you've talked about how dangerous these pesticides are, both for especially for consumers, for the soil as well. How do they still get access to this? If they were banned in 2008, how do the farmers still get access to it? And why are there punitive measures for the use of these?
Yes, actually, yeah, they have been banned, and stakeholders and experts have also shared knowledge, because, knowledge is not just in the social media. Social media is one of the agents of, knowledge sharing. What about conferencing? What about in the classroom? What about in meetings where we have to share this knowledge and, calling for stronger regulations, better enforcement and extensive farmer education on sustainable agricultural practices to mitigate this ongoing public health and environmental crisis. So it's not just an agricultural thing. It has to work together. So it's a system thing. As the system is not strong enough, the system is not broken. As far as I'm concerned, there's no system in place yet. But I know that I will really give kudos to colleagues at the health and environmental agencies and those in the university as well. Of course, I'm an associate professor and I work in the university as well. Aside of my being a co-founder of Africa Organization of Technology in agriculture. And coming back also to your question about what can be done, this is a challenge. What are we doing? Why is it that people are still falling back? Why is it that it's still playing out? So can this be mitigated? Of course, it can be mitigated. That's why we are there's a lot of organic, what we call organically bioeconomy now. A lot of attention, a lot of shift. There's a shift, like a paradigm shift towards organically formulated or produced pesticides and other agrochemicals, maybe herbicides and all that. Those are that have the primary resource. Those are some of the agricultural inputs that are encouraged, so that the life, our life, and also the livestock and other aspects. Come and see, this has also implication in trade, because when you are trying to engage in international trade, there's always a standard.
Yes.
And they have their quality control measures, and so that is also a red flag. That is a huge red flag
now, Dr.
for our products. Thank you.
Now, Dr. Agbugba, you've mentioned quite a lot in the course of this conversation, but one thing that sticks for me is the presence of organochlorine-based pesticides that are still prevalent, despite its ban and its harmful effect to the food ecosystem and, of course, biodiversity and humans at the end of the day. So are there any protections for Nigerians? Is there any organization like NAFDAC? I know NAFDAC is Food Drug Administration and Control, but does this fall under their purview to look at the food that is going from markets to the tables of Nigerians, that they are free of some of this harmful pesticides, or we're just left to deal with it by ourselves? What protection is there?
There are food safety measures, food control organizations, or rather organizations that enforce these regulations, like NAFDAC. You just mentioned NAFDAC, and we also have the integrated pest management systems, which ensures the usage of safe alternatives, and also adopting of advanced methods like precision agriculture. Like now we're talking about AI, we're in the advent of technology and fourth industrial revolution, where artificial intelligence and other aspects, of course, the drone thing, and so those can actually, so those organizations are working assiduously, I know, but the challenge is that it's also, there are cost implications. And like I said, I wouldn't want to shoot, colleagues on the leg, but I think there's a lot of upgrade that needs to be done on the system. I was, sharing knowledge on this, on the food control measures about a month ago at the University of Birmingham at their food safety program, and they normally invite me to share about Nigeria and the other African countries, how the food control systems are also playing out. And I met with people from China. I met students from Pakistan, from Malaysia, and you need to see from my interactions with them, because it was a knowledge sharing session. It was highly interactive. I had to allow them to talk as well, not just to share what happens. And then, so this is like a call for action, walking the talk, taking this matter very, very seriously. So like I said, it's a system thing. So the food supply chain has to, of course, the farmers are part of the food supply chain, and the farmers have a lot. We need to share knowledge with them. We need to go to them. We need to work with them. So what about the issues of data? Having our farmers, and we know that the majority of those that practice agriculture in Nigeria and other African countries are smallholder farmers. So how are we also enforcing policies that favor them? How are we also bringing them into the game? Let me give an instance. I was asked to engage with farmers at the River State chapter of the Michigan State University sponsored project during COVID. So and I worked with the Ministry of Agriculture and some veterinary people who were in charge of birds and all that. And I worked a lot with farmers, those in the fish and crops as well. What we found out was that actually to bring these farmers together is a major challenge. It's a major challenge even for them to come. For them to come for the knowledge sharing session. This was a research which has already been announced and carried out. So I was asked to facilitate that program, and I can tell you that we had very scanty attendance. So, and at the end, those that attended, we are giving money for coming, and then those others who had it, said, okay, yeah. So, reaching to farmers is a major challenge as well. And these are practices that has to, there are practices which they need to also inculcate. There are, green, that is why in the green economy, a lot is going on right now. So it's now, a system thing. So those who are not even in agriculture are coming back to agriculture to engage with stakeholders of agriculture. Like some of us who started agriculture from, childhood, I studied agriculture, and now, I have a lot of experience, at an international level. And then why can't we now begin to, do the thing, do the talk? Why can't we be part of, that committees whereby we can invite farmers who are directly, we have extension agents. What is happening to, reaching out to extension and advisory services? We need to work with Federal Ministry of Agriculture. And then this is not just for them. Everyone is part of agriculture, because food is one of the life priorities, and food is from agriculture sector. Every sector depends on the agriculture sector. And agriculture sector is basically crops, livestock, forestry, and fisheries. Thank you.
Okay, so now where do the citizens come in? As a Nigerian citizen who has to eat, we have to access these foods. Unfortunately, we're hearing that some of them still have these chemicals. How can we protect ourselves?
For that question, I think the onus lies on each of us to begin to reach out, and I remember during COVID, I was, I used to interface with those in the Dutch farmers, and food log Dick Veerman, and he was trying to propose a strategy for African agriculture. That is the culture of going back to farming. You know, those days when we were growing up, we used to have, you know, it was a culture for us to have a home garden. These days, people are no longer thinking about home gardens. That was actually how I found myself in the agriculture space. And, because my mother used to, send me to the farm as the last child at the University of Nigeria and Nsukka, where my parents worked. So I used to, those days venturing into agriculture was really weird. But we all eat food. So, and I went in, I applied for agriculture, and that is why I'm here. And, if also, yeah, we have shops, we have markets where food, are also being sold. We can actually get to the marketplaces, and also, that is also why research is important. I've carried out a lot of marketing researches. I've done market research a lot, and I work a lot with farmers. I'm in a lot of farmer groups, and we know that there are, we still have, will I say, those remnants of farmers who are actually practicing safe farming, safety in farming. And we are also encouraging on usage of formulations which are organically based because of the safety in some of these things. And then also sometimes you have to allow the farmland and to follow. You have to ensure that you use also manures and organic fertilizers. I am part of an initiative which we try to generate organic fertilizers using human waste and surface soil from construction industry. That is also a very safe a way of farming, because what you eat is actually, what we eat is from how we practice farming. So there is a whole lot. There's a lot of transfer of diseases, and you can imagine the diseases and infection and all that from the farm, and it's not a good thing for us. So now I know the focus is on organochlorine chemicals, pesticides, using them in farming, and of course we will definitely ensure that our people have like the system, the supply chain, the value chain, and those who are also selling has to be well censored. We must have to also ensure and promote sharing sessions. We need to work with the market women. We need to work with those who are engaged in farming, not just the farmers alone, but also the marketers, the wholesalers, the retailers, and also anyone who, or any group or any player who is engaged in the brokering process. And there could even be maybe rural assemblers, depending on the products or the produce which is being sold, because food is very important. And when you talk about food crops, majorly arable crops are in high demand, and the horticulture crops also, the vegetables, we always encourage a consumption of vegetables. Like, we have ugu, we have our green, we have our water leaf, we make our soups all the time. And as you eat veggies, also, I encourage, us to eat a lot of vegetables, as we eat also the carbohydrates, stuff that we eat, the meat, eating of beef and goat's meat or pork or whatsoever, or chicken. Make sure you are eating green vegetables. It's very important. And then, of course, the fruit vegetables as well are important. What about the okra? What about the tomatoes, the onions? How much are we eating? And then coming back to the fruits as well. The regular fruits and vegetables, have mangoes, oranges, the citrus based and all that. Yeah, so this is a way of also protecting ourselves, because they contain a lot of antioxidants. Some people do not even understand that.
Very important discussion, Dr. Ikechi Agbugba. Thank you so much for sharing your insights with us. We just spoke to the co-founder, African Organization of Technology and Agriculture, Dr. Ikechi Agbugba. Thanks for the awareness your organization is doing and putting this in the front burner. We'll continue to do our best to educate Nigerians on the dangers of farming.